Well, good afternoon, Pryn Handar from the Women's Rights Network Wales. Here we are again, it would seem. We were here 30 days after the Supreme Court judgment. We were here 75 days after the Supreme Court judgment. We were here 100 days after the Supreme Court judgment. And now we're here 150 days after the Supreme Court judgment. We're still here, Amar Ohid, and we are still angry. On the 16th of April, the United Kingdom Supreme Court issued its clear and decisive ruling. It reaffirmed that for the purposes of the Equality Act 2010, where a single-sex space is provided, it is to be provided on the basis of biological sex. And in those 150 days, what has the Welsh Government in the Senedd behind me done? Nothing. Dim byd. Nothing at all. Dim o gwbl. Now, this ruling was not ambiguous. It wasn't a helpful suggestion. It was a definitive legal judgment. And yet, despite the crystal clarity, the Welsh Government continues to drag its feet. Let's be absolutely clear about this. The provision of single-sex spaces is not an act of discrimination. It is an act of protection, a safeguard, and it is the law. It's the legal right to spaces separated on the basis of biological sex, where women and girls can feel safe, supported, and respected, whether that be on hospital wards, refuges, changing rooms, toilets, or in prisons. This is not about ideology. It's about real-life consequences for the women and girls who self-exclude from services they once relied on, about girls in schools who have lost their privacy in their own toilets, about women prisoners who find one day they're confined with a male rapist, which is very much a real-life consequence that women like Jane Hutt and Eluned Morgan, who work in the building behind me, who are socially and economically insulated from those scenarios, and yet who tell us at the Women's Rights Network that they prioritise inclusion. Well, what that inclusion means is the inclusion of men in women's prisons and men in rape crisis centres. We have made special pleadings to the Welsh Government from our sisters in faith who need spaces away from men for religious or cultural reasons, for our traumatised sisters, for when the presence of men creates a trauma response of genuine, pure terror, for our incarcerated sisters, the majority of whom are survivors of domestic abuse. But it would seem that the Welsh Government cares not a jot for them. But even aside from those special cohorts, ordinary women who just don't want men in our spaces, they don't like men in our spaces, we don't prefer them in our spaces. What was wrong with just no? There are words for people who don't take no for an answer from women, and none of them are good. For we must be inclusive. What was wrong with no? And when the brave, ordinary, extraordinary women of For Women Scotland went all the way to the Supreme Court for those women, for all women, to clarify the law, what did the Welsh Government do? Nothing. We're waiting for the guidance, they keep saying. The law does not have to wait for guidance. To adopt the Cardiff vernacular, the splendid Cardiff vernacular of my adopted hometown, we've had a bloody guts full of this. So I'm asking the Welsh Government, what message are you sending to the women of Wales? That our concerns are inconvenient or even bigoted? That the law doesn't matter? That safeguarding is optional? The women and girls of Wales deserve better. Wales deserves better from its government. Our people and our institutions deserve the clarity, the confidence that comes from knowing that their government respects the rule of law. So today, again, 150 days later, we call on the Senedd to step up now. Not to wait for the guidance, but now. Step up, Senedd. Implement the Supreme Court decision. Provide clarity to public bodies. Restore single-sex spaces. Show the people of Wales that the government is not above the law, but accountable to it. Now we're here on your steps, and make no mistake about it. Next May, we will be at your ballot box. We are still here. Amar Ohid, step up, Senedd. Diolch yn fawr.